Hi, everyone, and thanks for joining us for our special Partner Spotlight webinar. My name is Henry Suarez, and as you may know, I am 3dcart's Technical Documentation Manager, where my duties include writing the various knowledge base articles and instructional documents for 3dcart, as well as hosting special partner webinars like this one. Today, I have the pleasure of introducing you to Sales and Orders. Their specialty is in helping manage your Google Shopping campaigns. Joining us today is Anthony Capitola, the Marketing Director for Sales and Orders, and he's here to tell us all about their service. Now, before I hand the reins over to Anthony, I just wanted to go over a few housekeeping messages about our presentation today. We will be having a Q&A session at the end, so if you have any questions during the webinar, send them on in so that Anthony can get them. If you look to the right of the video screen here, you'll see a form with your fields for your name, email address, and your question. We've only got a certain amount of time allotted today, so Anthony will try to get to everyone's question, but if we run out of time, we'll be able to get you your answer via email. So please be sure to use a valid email address just in case we miss your question. Also, to answer the number one question we often get, yes, this webinar is being recorded and we'll provide you with a replay link shortly after we finish today. All right, so that about does it for my introduction here, and I think everyone's seated and ready for the show. So without further delay, I will hand over the reins to Anthony and let him tell us all about Sales and Orders. Tony, they're all yours.
Thank you very much, Henry, for that warm introduction, and welcome and thank you to everybody joining us today. I'm extremely excited to get started, and I'm going to be sharing with you some general information as well as some tips, advice, and best practices on all things Google Shopping and how to get the most out of Google Shopping, especially coming up in this holiday season. So without further ado, let's get into our agenda, starting with what exactly is Google Shopping, moving over to what product listing ads are, also known as PLAs, some of the benefits of Google Shopping, also the challenges that retailers face when trying to list their products on Google Shopping. Also going to tell you a little bit about our methodology here at Sales and Orders and our structure of campaigns as well as optimization. Some product data best practices, also some add-ons and promotions that you can utilize with your Google Shopping campaigns. Also going to talk about some of the common scenarios that we face on a regular basis and how to optimize and work with your campaigns towards profitability. Also preparing for Cyber Monday, so very important holiday season coming up right now, and you guys want to be selling more and making more. So going to give you some tips and advice not only to prepare for this season, but every season to come. We're going to end with some Q&A, and I just ask that you please hold your questions until the end. All right, so what exactly is Google Shopping? Google Shopping is a campaign type within Google AdWords, and it is exclusive to e-commerce businesses. Online retailers generally use Google Shopping not only to send paid traffic to their site, so it's very highly relevant traffic, but also the traffic is going directly to the product landing pages so that people can actually purchase the product as soon as they click on an ad. The model for product listing ads is a PPC model, so you are paying on a CPC basis or a cost per click. Every single click on one of your ads, you're paying for that single click, and then you're using AdWords to track things such as conversions and data related to how many people are seeing your products online. So PLAs, those are the actual ads themselves that are being created when you create a Google Shopping campaign, and you can see one on the left there, and in the previous slide you saw the ones on the right. The ones on the right generally appear on the main search engine, also on mobile listings. So, and there are generally three places you can see these ads. You can see them on the main search engine, usually in the top right corner. Also, you can see them on the mobile phone. On a mobile device, they actually appear first above all other search results, both paid and organic. And PLAs themselves display not only the product image, but product titles, pricing, promotions. You can even display product reviews in PLAs. And on the shopping tab, you get a little bit more information as well as some more price comparison to your store and versus other stores, anybody else that might be selling similar products. Now, PLAs, again, a click brings the potential shopper directly to your website where they can then purchase the product right in your store. Now, the campaigns themselves are structured out to include all of these PLAs, so you can even build out a campaign to focus on all your product listing ads, or you can focus on very distinct products in your campaign that you feel like you would rather sell more than others. So a lot of the benefits of Google Shopping revolve around how cost-effective, and not only cost-effective, but conversion effective these product listing ads are. Versus other PPC campaigns, traditional text ads, PLAs have probably one of the highest conversion rates available, as well as one of the lowest costs to convert. It can take as little as a single penny invested in a single click to drive as much of a sale as that product is worth. So, if you're selling a product that's worth $500 and you get a click on it at a penny and that product converts, you basically made 100% on your margin. One of the also big benefits also to Google Shopping is Google's current control over what's known as the search market share. So Google controls roughly, it's close to about 70% of all searches performed online. And PLAs themselves make up roughly 40% of that. So let's just say Google has a little over 1 trillion searches a year. So we're talking hundreds of billions of consumer searches per year. So being able to put your products in front of that large of a population of shoppers is tremendous. And combining that with the low cost and the high conversion rate, you're definitely in a very strong market to make sales. Shopping campaigns are very relevant and targetable. And not only are they targetable where you can target location, regions of the world where shopping is available, but also they're mobile ready. You can create PLAs to focus only on shoppers that are using smartphones or mobile devices. Again, the PLAs that appear on a mobile device generally appear above the fold. They appear before organic listings and above any other paid listings. And they work just like PLAs on the main Google search engine. You search for something, you click on something, it gets to one of your product pages. And if you have a mobile website or a mobile optimized site or even mobile friendly site, you can certainly increase your chances of getting sales on mobile devices as well. So retailers do face some challenges when trying to list their products on Google Shopping. And it all really starts out at the account level. So you have 3 required accounts, Google services, to be able to list your products. That's Google AdWords, of course, for creating the campaigns, but also Google Analytics, which helps you track your revenue and sales metrics. Also Merchant Center. So Merchant Center is where you actually house your product catalog. So you would create a product data feed from your store, which then gets shipped over to Google Merchant Center, which is then connected to Google AdWords to be able to create your campaigns. Now, all 3 of these accounts must be synced together, but also they all must be configured properly. So one of the first issues, if you're having issues with your campaigns or you're having issues with your product listing ads, even on the individual basis, the first places you should be looking are these 3 accounts, making sure that you have things such as your e-commerce tracking is turned on in Google Analytics, you have your conversion tracking set up in Google AdWords, that you've set up your tax and your shipping information in Google Merchant Center. This is only going to help avoid some of these very commonplace, very easy to fix problems with Google Shopping. Now, getting into Google Merchant Center, Google Merchant Center is where you house your product data feed, and product data quality is really important to Google. They want a very good, clean feed, and they want all the data you can possibly provide. Now, you have to follow very specific guidelines for that. These are known as Google's product feed specifications. And there are a lot of requirements for these. So, one of the things that retailers do end up facing, when first trying to get their products online on Google Shopping is, a product data feed. Generally, there are plugins and tools on your site that can really help you with this, but at the same time, following Google's product feed specifications is bar none the first place you should be looking. And it will help you get an idea of, especially if you sell certain products like apparel or accessories, which require more attributes on the product ads themselves, will help you really get an idea of what you're going to experience. So after you've created your campaigns, there are issues where people will begin to want to structure their campaigns in a certain way. And a poorly structured campaign can really do a lot of damage. And if you have things such as too many campaigns or campaigns with the same products in them and you're not really sure, or campaigns that are built out properly. So, you can what's known as subdivide your product campaigns down to various different levels. You can go to the group level or even the brand level, or you can focus on the entire product catalog at the ID levels. Every single SKU has their own ad. And the way you track and understand your campaign structure will really begin to help you determine whether or not you're going to be profitable in Google Shopping, because campaign structure can cause you to lose some information, or even kind of some of the information that can get hidden in a poorly structured campaign. Now, getting into that is also profit and loss. So there really is no current mechanism for true profit and loss in a Google Shopping campaign using Google AdWords tracking. You can track other types of metrics which are similar, like return on investment or return on ad spend, but these are a little more broad. They're not specific to the SKU or specific to the ID, where you're not applying cost and ad spend to the product to be able to determine whether or not it's a profitable product, or if it's a product that's simply causing a lot of waste in your campaigns. So our methodology here at Sales and Orders, and we focus on tracking every single SKU in a campaign, and we structure campaigns to the ID level, and this allows us to go a little bit further than just the general ROI or return on ad spend, even targeted ROI if you really wanted to look for positivity in a campaign. We're factoring in cost and margin metrics on products, so we're actually able to determine profit and loss at the ID level. And this gets even deeper. So normally Google Analytics, and if you had not, as I spoke with a properly structured Google Shopping campaign, if you had not structured it properly, or if you're at least not out to that ID level, one thing you can't really get is granular search query level data. And what this data allows us to find is the ways people are searching online, so the exact keywords people are using to bring up exact IDs from your campaign. So what product listing ad is coming up for what term somebody is using online, and which product is being brought up for that term. For products that are grouped together, the search term might bring up a group, but you're not really sure what ID was brought up specifically. So our ability to do that allows us to be a lot more optimized as far as the way the campaign structure goes, but not only that, but the reporting and the diagnostics of certain data and query level items. Since we're focusing on 100% Google Shopping, we've seen just about everything you can see, and one of the things that stands out, especially in the way we have worked with several merchants, is again the whole thing about the structure and the optimization process, and how it doesn't only just apply to budget or bidding, but also how it applies to product data, and how you can optimize your product data with this search query level information to be more targeted with your campaigns and drive more relevant traffic to your site. So with that, let's get into some product data best practices. So product data, obviously the lifeblood, your product data feed, push to Merchant Center, a good clean feed, Google accepts it, it's reviewed, your products are approved, and you go up on Google Shopping. And there are the top three parts to a product ad that you really need to be focusing in on the majority of the time, as far as, the three things that will increase your impressions, increase your clicks, and increase your chances for a conversion. And I'm going to start off with product images. And product imagery is probably one of the most important aspects to actually making the sale, because the shopper really does want to have very similar to the in-store feel. So they want to feel like they're holding the product in their hands, or they're being able to see it in a window, almost like they're walking on street side. And these product images really need to be optimized in such a way that it increases your exposure. So product images set on an all-white background, very high resolutions, the highest resolution you can get. If I like to go back to shoes and apparel a lot. So, if you're selling shirts or, even dresses or anything along those lines, a lot of images do display somebody wearing the product already, and for some cases this does work really well. In other cases, you can alienate the user with products, especially apparel products, that might already be on somebody. And a better way to start out, at least, is to put everything on that all-white background, just the product itself, and also never include a watermark. You'll get disapproved immediately. Now, there are two things that we would consider as key product triggers in Google Shopping. So although the feed is submitted and you get a lot of information into the feed, the two aspects to your products that really drive the user search query and puts that user in front of your product are the product titles and descriptions. And there are two ways you can think about product titles, and you can think of them in the highly branded targeted term. So, for example, you have the Nike Free Trainer 3.0 V4 men's training shoe. This is very targeted. Somebody who knows the kind of shoe that they're looking for, knows exactly what they want and the color or the size. And this goes especially for apparel products. You're going to want to include a lot of those attributes: gender, size, color, depending on what you're selling. This ad itself, something that has a product title of this sort, somebody who searches for Nike Free Trainer 3.0 or Nike Free Trainer training shoe, this product might appear, and it's because those targeted keywords are in there. Now, there's also the other route, which is the general terminology type of product title. So it's focusing on the general terms that somebody would use. So a men's black running shoe, size 12 and a half. Obviously, this includes all those important qualities: the gender, the quality, the gender, the color, the size. And this is for, that broad term that somebody might be searching for. And if your product comes up because of your product title, chances are, if you're selling the right product, you have the right product image, you could get that conversion. What this works really well with, there are things such as obscure brands and boutique products that may not really have as much information as opposed and might be more unique in either their makeup or their material, possibly. So my big rule of thumb for before we move on is how to handle your product descriptions and how they relate to your product titles. Now, you should be repeating the key terms in your product titles inside your product descriptions. And it'd be best to keep that within the first 200 characters, and that will help, especially on the shopping tab in Google Shopping, that'll help that your product ad to get a little bit more juice and appear to the right user when they search for your product online. So there are a couple things that you can do beyond campaign structure, bidding. Again, you can get into the product data optimization. But one of the things I'll first mention are two things. It's promotional text and or merchant promotions. So promotional text is just a very basic, simple text that you can add to your PLA itself. So when he clicks on it, it actually appears to them. It appears when they search for it. It could be something as easy as free shipping or free shipping over $99, whatever it might be. But this promotional text allows you to add that important message. Merchant promotions is actually an additional feed in Google Merchant Center, and you do have to apply and be approved for it. Now, with merchant promotions, what is displayed instead is something known as a special offer. And with that special offer, you can include a coupon code in your PLA, which helps the user see the not only the ad itself, but the exposure of the offer could help drive the click. And if you're re-emphasizing that on your site, you could certainly get a higher chance for a conversion. Now, Google also has employed a program known as Google Trusted Stores. Now, Trusted Stores, as you can see the logo on the right, this logo can actually be displayed in your PLAs, and it can be housed on your website. So it's almost like a badge of approval by Google. It signifies a business that is very adamant about customer satisfaction, loyalty, and security and safety, especially. So this not only benefits the business owner of the e-commerce site itself, but it also benefits the shopper, and the shopper gets a little bit more protected under that Google moniker and the Google logo for a Google Trusted Store. So let's get into Carol Store, and it's just kind of a brief overview of some of the experiences that many e-commerce businesses do face when they're dealing with Google Shopping. And Carol sells shoes online, and she is really kind of just getting started and needs a little bit of guidance, and has done it herself, but realized that there are some issues, and so she really needs some help. So she started off, she is a small business, and the first thing she started out with was a limited by budget. And this is an alert that happens in AdWords. And what this is basically saying is you're not spending enough in your Google Shopping campaigns throughout the day to allow all of your product ads to display, or at least your entire budget to be consumed at a profitable rate. As a general rule, we like to say that for every 1,000 products in a campaign, you should be spending at least $10 in Google Shopping. Now, this is a very general term, so it really depends on the products that you sell, the size of your business, what budget you have invested in other areas, and if you have the ability to reallocate budget depending on what you see as a more profitable avenue for sales. So Carol has gone through and she decided that she'll increase her budget a little bit more, maybe to get some more impressions, some more clicks on her products. But now she's starting to notice that a lot of her products are getting what are known as zero impressions. Or when a product ad appears to somebody online, that's known as an impression. It's really what happens when your ad is served or your ad is triggered, but somebody does not click. It's just called an impression. Now, sometimes after running a campaign for a while, so Carol has obviously increased her budget and she's really focused on that primarily at first, but now that she's seeing zero impressions, what we would tell Carol is first take a look at what's going on with your product data. Maybe you need to add some of that general terminology to your product ads, your product titles especially. If you're selling shoes, do you have a men's black running shoe size 12.5? Or if you don't, and you do have something similar, how are you describing that product in the product title, and can you use more terms to bring out the more general search terms in there? Tying into limited by budget, sometimes zero impressions actually have a lot to do with your budget running out too quickly during the day. And one of the ways that you can actually increase your chances of your budget being consumed at a proper rate is instead of using what's known as the standard delivery method in Google Shopping, you can use an accelerated delivery. Now, your ads will appear more often and your budget will be consumed a little bit faster, but it guarantees that per your budget, that your ads are getting the most visibility throughout the day. So Carol's come back. She's actually worked on some product titles in her descriptions, and she's starting to see that the impression issue is starting to resolve itself. Also, she put a little bit more into her budget, so the product ads that may have not been getting hits are finally getting hits. And now she's noticing that she spent a couple months now in Google Shopping, and she's noticing that there's still she's not really making the profit that she wants to be. She feels like that there could be a lot of waste, or she's spending too much money in the wrong places. And this is where she can begin to think about top performers in even things such as seasonal products or anything that might perform better in during one part of the year or during a certain season or climate than another. So what Carol needs to do is start thinking about optimizing her current campaign and maybe even possibly building other campaigns. So what she can do is she can take the top performing products, whatever majority of her products are driving the majority of her sales, and removing those products, or at least maybe creating an entirely new campaign for those products and coming up with an entirely new budget to dedicate just to those products alone. That way, what she can start to do is really get an idea of, the products that are driving the most traffic, could be driving the most sales. Does she have products that are consistently selling more or multiple units being sold? By separating these products, she can really get an idea of the other products that are not getting as much action or may not be selling as much, and realize that those products might just simply not be working for her on shopping, and she can either work on optimizing those products with more product title optimization, or maybe cleaning up some things on her site, offering lower pricing, whatever that might be. But now she has a good set of top performing products that she knows are driving good traffic and good sales all the time. So, getting into Cyber Monday. So the holiday seasons are upon us. The days are numbered. We are really getting really close, and it's time to think about how you can optimize, especially for not only this year but every year to come. And we're going to start off with actually there was some recent research done, and it stated that most retailers these days are expecting a lot more traffic and sales this year as compared to last year. And It might simply be because Cyber Monday is it's kind of new, but it's getting more and more apparent and obvious to people that this is the time to be shopping online, and they're expecting at least a 50% increase in traffic. I would say there's probably a little bit more, and because of that, there are a couple things that you're going to want to start thinking about. Again, if there's going to be a lot more traffic these days, or more people searching online, there are definitely a lot of ways that you can begin to optimize if you're currently doing Google Shopping, or ways that if you aren't and you're going to get involved, how to quickly get involved at a more profitable rate, at least. If you're focusing on, let's talk about bids and budgets, for instance. So as you said, you have the CPC that you're obviously bidding for a certain amount on a certain product ad. And if you're selling brand name products, you know that they're high-end products, maybe high-priced products, or products that you know drive a lot of the majority of your sales, it may be worth considering an increase in bids and budget just for those products alone. Now, I'm using the example as branded products, so we'll talk about, for instance, a Breville coffee maker. You know that you're selling that same coffee maker, you're a smaller business, but you know that big box retailers are selling that too. Bed Bath & Beyond, you name it. They're out there, they're selling these products, and you want to compete. If they have a unlimited budget, or they have a budget that far exceeds yours, you can still compete very, very well as long as you're thinking about allocating the budget in the right way. So if you have your underperforming products, your products are simply kind of just sitting there getting a lot of impressions, not too many clicks, or if they're getting a lot of clicks and no conversions, sort of think about reallocating your budget and your bidding towards your top sellers and those top brands to compete with the big box retailers. And tying into that, you can really start to think about your pricing and your holiday offers. So you can't necessarily, I'm not going to tell you to lower your pricing across the board, because if you do that, you could lose money. But what I can say is, if you do a little bit of competitor research this year, check into what other businesses are offering, not only in the pricing range, but also in the performance and profitability range. What are they doing in their promotions? What are they doing in their discounts and their offers? Are they offering free shipping? Are they offering a certain percentage off of their sales the price this year? Look at that, and it is vital that your ad matches to what is going on your site. So again, I had mentioned re-emphasizing on the site what's going on in your PLA. So if you're going to offer a promotion, and let's say you offer something like free shipping over $99, you can list that in your product listing ad. So you want to make sure that that's matching up to your site. Now, it's really important that you start thinking about not only this year but next year. And a keen eye on your data and your performance for this year can really translate into a good strategy, and which you can adapt for next year as well, and every subsequent holiday season. So you know that you have a certain set of products that sold really well. Those are your top performers. You have a holiday offer that killed it and made a ton of money for you. Again, you're going to want to probably use that, or even maybe work on adapting that for a better year next year. Always think about evolving your strategy and adding to it and doing more, because scaling your experience with Google Shopping is all about just putting more behind your ability to make the sale. So adding more to your budget, restructuring your campaigns to focus on the top performers, things of that sort. Now I'm going to get into some of the local business owners out there, somebody that might have a brick and mortar store, and there are ways for you to target a mile radius around your store. So you can use certain targeting methods within, location targeting within Google AdWords to be able to have your PLAs drive in-store traffic. So you know that somebody searching in nearby knows that your product is searching for your product, and they come to your store and buy it. If they see it on their smartphone, for instance, minutes later they could be in your store buying the product. Now, Google does offer something known as local inventory ads. You do have to not only apply, but you do have to be approved for that program. It's got some very distinct requirements. So I'd say that might not be the place you want to start out as with local listing ads, but you definitely want to start out with some refined targeting. Especially with Black Friday, if somebody searches for a product and they're only a couple miles away from you, they come right to your store and you make that sale. And it could have been from PLA. And it's a little bit harder to track that kind of conversion. But if you notice that your foot traffic increases and you put a little bit more money into a local targeting, chances are it did change a little bit and add a little bit to your foot traffic. All right, so it's time for a little bit of Q&A, and the questions already started rolling in, and I really do want to get to everybody. And if I don't, I will try to answer them not only now, but maybe I can get an email out to you as well. And I'll also give you a little bit of information on how to reach me directly if you have some more questions or want some more advice. So my first question is from Marla, and Marla asks, I am noticing that there are a lot of clicks on my product ads and AdWords, but no conversions. Is there any surefire way I can increase the chance of getting a sale after someone clicks on my ad? So Marla, this has a little less to do with your Google Shopping campaigns themselves, but a lot more to do with what you're doing on your store and also with your pricing. So you have a really great store. If you offer a very simple checkout process, things like there's something known as Google Wallet that helps with the buyer actually being able to just kind of easily handle their credit card information, make a purchase on your site. These types of things are the best way to increase the chances of a conversion on your site. Also, again, back into the holiday offer spectrum, if you're offering a good, strong, free shipping offer or even a discount, maybe a free gift, one of those things might not only get you the conversion, give you a better chance of the conversion, but it could increase your average order value for that single order that was made through that click. I have a question from Jesse, and Jesse says, why would I want to use Google Shopping over any other PPC platform? Jesse, I would say that Google Shopping's, without a doubt, the most widespread. That's probably the largest PPC platform out there for e-commerce retailers. Again, this ties into the search market share again. So, Google's controlling a very large percentage of the shoppers online at every other turn. So it's not just on the desktop; it's also at the smartphone level. And if you're not doing Google Shopping right now, but if you are, but if you're not, it's easily one of the fastest ways to get some sales and some traffic coming to your site in as little as 24 hours if you get set up properly. Up here we have Donna. So Donna, I'm having a lot of issues with my data feeds in Merchant Center. Do you have any recommendations on ways to make it easier to get my feed approved? So Google goes through, Donna, well, first of all, Google does two things. If this is your first time submit a feed, they do a manual feed review and a manual site review. So two things you want to make sure of is your clear and present refund and return policy on your site. Also, I would recommend that you take a look at Google's product feed specifications to make sure that you're passing the right information through. Especially if you sell apparel or accessories or even shoes or something along those lines, you could be missing some attributes. Look at your diagnostics tool in Merchant Center. It'll tell you now, more recently with the recent update to Merchant Center, you get more information on what products are causing those problems. You can also go to approved third-party feed companies that can get you like a one-time feed up for pretty inexpensive, and then you can get into whether or not it could have to do with just your settings in Merchant Center as well. So make sure that you have your settings and your Merchant Center is configured properly with shipping and tax and things of that nature. All right, Sam. So Sam, you mentioned limited by budget, but what if my budget is generally limited? How can I make the most with a smaller budget? Okay. So Sam, what I would say is if you're currently running campaigns, and I would take a look at some campaign history, and I would look for your top performers. I would then think about if you have a limited budget in general, what is driving the most profit, what are driving the most sales, the most traffic, and kind of separating those products out and focusing more of your budget on those. And remember, you can always take the products that aren't necessarily getting a lot of conversions or clicks and lower the bids a little bit and see what threshold there is for still getting impressions, but at the same time, what might be more cost effective. My next question is from Bobby. Oh, Bobby. Okay, so is there any way that I can use Google Shopping to send people to my physical street side store? Yes, Bobby. So as I said before, there were some local targeting you could do. So if you have a few locations and a good inventory management system, you can definitely look into local inventory ads. And again, you'll have to apply and be approved for that program. But instead of that, what you would do is at the settings level in your campaign, you would set the location to any mile radius outside of your store. So if you know that you have people coming to you from as far as 10 miles, you can set a 10-mile radius around your store for targeting, and people that search on a phone, or if they're searching in their home and they're just up the block or something, they could definitely see your ad and then say, oh, this is right next door. Oh, or land on your site and say, oh, this is a couple miles away. I'll just go over there and buy it in store. So that's definitely what I would do. Up next, we have Adam. Adam, our store is like an online consignment shop. Oh, that's cool. And our product inventory is constantly changing. What can we do to make sure our feed does not go down when we are out of stock on certain items? Awesome question, Adam. So there's something known as automatic updates and schema.org. So schema.org is a markup. It's a data markup that is accepted by Google. And combining this with automatic updates, you can set a frequency for Google to go out there, look at your feed, look at your site, and use the schema.org markup to measure price and availability on your products. So if you sell, again, as you said, you're an online consignment shop, you might only have one of one product or two of a single item. If something runs out of stock, the availability option can be picked up by schema.org. And if your pricing changes, so if you know that something you've had something on your site for a while, but it's not selling, you want to lower it, or you do lower your prices evenly throughout the week to try to get a sale, you can use the schema and you can use automatic item updates. Jen asks, how much should I be spending in Google Shopping to get the best return? Very hard to really give you like a solid number that I would say is the best number to be spending on Google Shopping. You should be spending as much as you possibly can be spending. What I will say is if you're having trouble determining your budget, look into whatever other marketing activities you're doing and try to measure the return that you're getting from those. And if it's not profitable, or if it's not at least doesn't warrant the amount you're spending in it, you can certainly look to reallocate your budget into Google Shopping a little bit more. And I think I mentioned, but as a general rule of thumb, for every 1,000 products, $10 a day in ad spend. So I have George, and George's question is, do you recommend using other marketing platforms such as social media advertising or marketplaces combined with whatever we're doing on Google Shopping? I said, absolutely, George. I think there are a lot of social media platforms out there that are definitely geared towards product selling, especially since some of them do offer, product advertising. You have Facebook. My number one pick would be Pinterest. Also, you have Instagram might work for you, and some Twitter might work for you as well. But certainly Pinterest would be number one as far as social media goes for me. And then you can, I would definitely say that if you have the budget and you have the time, looking into marketplaces is certainly a worthwhile experience. Generally, they do require a certain percentage. However, if you have that budget built up already, looking into Amazon, looking into some of the smaller marketplaces, some of the larger ones, Rakuten, things along those lines, definitely a great idea, no doubt. Coming next, we have Winnie. So Winnie asks, how much time does it take to set up an account with you guys and get onto Google Shopping? Cool, Winnie. So it really depends on your current status. So if you're not doing Google Shopping right now, we can do all the setup for you. It's no charge. You work with us. Generally, it takes anywhere from 24 to 72 hours, and that's just because if you're going fresh account, it usually takes Google themselves to up to 72 hours. But we have accounts as little as 20 minutes, they're ready. 10 minutes, they're ready. An account with us is very quick. It's just a few moments, some quick information. And then it's just really the holdup is always on Google. They do need, if you're new, again, they have to do a manual feed overview and a manual site overview. I have a question here from Ben. A lot of services out there seem to be geared towards larger scale stores. Is there a limitation to what kind of businesses you can support? It's a great question, Ben. No, there really is no limitations. We work with small businesses, large businesses, medium-sized businesses. You know, if you can get a good clean feed to Merchant Center and your site is optimized, enough for Google Shopping and for mobile, that's a great starting point for Google Shopping itself. But as far as working with us, there really are no limitations. We connect directly to your analytics, AdWords, and Merchant Center. We're able to pull your import your product feed, set up your campaigns for you, and manage them depending on what you'd like to do with it. I think I have time for one more, and I apologize to whoever I was not able to get to. But Phil, do I have to add any code to my website to be able to use your app? No, Phil, that's one of the coolest parts about it is we really don't need to do anything. We don't need to go into your store. We don't need to go into your back end. We don't have to go into your source code. No codes, no pixels, no scripts, none of that stuff. We are only connecting to your Google accounts, and it usually takes, again, as little as 10 minutes to set up an account with us. Okay, so I think that's all the time that I have. Again, I wanted to thank everybody, not only for the questions, but for joining me today. And thank you to Henry for hosting, having me on the show. Once again, my name's Anthony. Over here at Sales and Orders. You can reach me directly if you'd like, and ask me any questions about Google Shopping you'd like. So my email is Capitola, Capetola, and that is at salesandorders.com. If you'd like, you can also call into the office at 888-538-4594. My direct extension is 502. But if you call and you just ask for Tony or ask for anybody, we're all Google Shopping specialists here, so we can certainly answer your questions and help you out in any way possible. Hey, everybody, have a wonderful day, have a wonderful evening, and good luck at this holiday season, and let's make some money. Have a good one.
Thanks, Tony, and thank you to all of you for joining us today. If we missed any of your questions, no worries. We'll get you an answer soon. And also, remember to check your emails in a little bit for the link to replay this webinar after we get the recording all fixed up for you. Thanks again, everyone, and have a great day. Bye-bye.